Welcome back to the studio sessions. My name is Brooke, and we're going to talk about the state of the entertainment industry again, because, oh boy. Welcome back, you guys. Okay, so before I jump in, happy Thanksgiving week. This episode will be posting the day before Thanksgiving, so if you're in the States, it's Thanksgiving week for you. Happy Thanksgiving. I am so looking forward to Thanksgiving and all the delicious food. So I'm excited for food, family time. We're traveling to see my family, and yeah, just really exciting. So I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful day celebrating with your family. Also, before we jump in, if you have been liking the studio sessions, if you've been enjoying the episode, I wanted to remind you to make sure you're subscribed so that you see when the new episodes come out. They'll be sent right to your feed, whether that's on YouTube or Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, click the bell and make sure that you have notifications on so that it'll notify you when a new episode comes out. Also, if you enjoyed this, give this a like and share it with somebody that you think would enjoy it also. All of those are free and greatly help support the show. Okay, the state of the entertainment industry. It's rough, guys. It's rough. I want to kind of just broadly talk about a few different things going on. I feel like a little bit of a state of the industry update is needed right now because there's been so much happening since the last time I really talked about major changes in the industry. So we have the ever-present saga of Warner Brothers. The sale for Warner Brothers is imminent. I think either last week or this week is the last week for offers to be put in, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with it. It's something I'm keeping my eye on, as you guys know, and it's something that it sounds like more of the industry is starting to pay attention to a little closer now that it's still a conversation and still going to happen. Because I saw a comment from James Cameron saying that he hopes it's not Netflix. And I agree. Netflix would not be who I would want to purchase Warner Brothers. Not that I dislike Netflix. Again, guys, I love Netflix. No shade towards Netflix whatsoever. They're just not who I want to own one of the last few remaining traditional studios that actually put movies in theaters. They just aren't. That's just not who I would want to have owned that. So yes, but again, no shade towards Netflix at all. So there's that. Offers are closing soon, and we'll see what comes of it. I also, in reading the dailies, which, again, I've talked about before, but I will put a link in the show description, is a newsletter, an email newsletter for basically news about the industry. They do a box office breakdown. They do different things happening. They'll do development updates of like, oh, this person's developing that or this or those types of things. And not only was I recently thinking about how often I'm seeing them say the box office was down this percent from 2024 or that percent from 2024 and like how often that's occurring. But I also saw something saying it was the lowest box office weekend like ever in October, which was astounding. That really shook me. Like, oh my gosh. I know there's like that lull after the summer before the end of the year where there's like a dive, right? There's less movies coming out during then, all of that. But even from before, like it's the lowest weekend October has ever had. Something to that effect. It was the lowest history-making low for the box office. And that just is something that I feel like until that reason gets addressed in some way, I feel like the industry as a whole hurts. Because a symptom like the box office being low shows a general issue industry-wide that is not being addressed and taken care of. It is not being handled, and I'm seeing a lot of like, oh, there's not much of this type of movie or that type of movie, looking at genres, looking at number of movies. And those are all things to look at. And I think the more that that's happening, like there's more genres that there's not really that much of. Like we don't get that many rom-coms anymore. We don't get that many comedies in general anymore. There's not a wide variety being made. I feel like in general, actually. Like I don't feel like that only pertains to the theatrical releases. Even streaming, there's not a wide variety. Less and less variety is being made, and people are just putting all of their money into what was popular and what was making money and profitable, rather than paying attention to an audience that is being ignored. So not only have I already known comedies is one that's being ignored, they just aren't happening, but also in one of the newsletters for the dailies, they pointed out, this was a while back, but they pointed out that Pixar had like their lowest opening and had consistently been having low openings since like 2017, 2018. Pixar. Because family-friendly PG content is not as paid attention to right now. Like, people aren't trying to make those as much. They're trying to make what's lucrative, and if they feel like it's too much of a risk or not enough return, or, you know, the thing that does good in that arena is sequels or reboots or something. If that's happening, then the genre kind of just dies. But you know the need is there, because when there's something people recognize the name and get excited about, they go to it. Like they're wanting to find something to go take their kids to. And there's honestly not that much. There's a lot that plays into the state of the industry, and I've gone into some of it more in depthly than others. Genres disappearing is, I feel like, becoming an even bigger part of that. Just as we have morphed the content being made, the films being released, you're seeing that effect where genres are disappearing and returns, attention, audiences are responding to that and dwindling, honestly. The idea that you keep trying the same things, hoping for a different result, it's definition of insanity. Like, let's try something new. We need something people aren't doing right now. We need fresh ideas. We need not repetition and not just the same thing everybody else is doing. And that to me is a symptom industry-wide, not just theatrical releases, but you can see it very clearly theatrically. Very, very clearly. So there's that. And again, you have to look at what ways people are watching things and how that shifted. Because since COVID, it was already headed that direction before COVID, where streaming was becoming so big and such a big thing. It was already going that direction, and then COVID kind of threw that into overdrive, because the major studios that released theatrically had to pivot to still be able to make money during the pandemic when they couldn't put things in theaters. So they had to give into streaming more at some point just to make their money. So that, and trying to get people back from that, trying to limit, like, okay, you know, things are back to normal. Hey, theaters are open. Come back to theaters. It has to be something different, because they were getting that at home. And you also have to feed the audience. Like, don't just throw out what everybody else is doing. Do something new. While we're talking about something new, I want to take just a second to talk about Butterfly Entertainment's Black Friday deals. This week, we have Black Friday deals now through December 1st, and everything is 20% off. You can use code BLACKFRIDAY2025 to get 20% off all of our membership plans, and you can gift a membership to somebody. You can also get 20% off all of the merch in our merch store and give the gift of story. So you can head to the link in the show notes to check out all the deals and take advantage of the 20% off through December 1st. Let's talk a little bit more about the state of the industry. Development. So development has been a process that a lot of people have been talking about slogging, basically since COVID again. And this is something that I feel like is also a symptom of the state of the world, the state of the industry-wide, that is how you end up with getting the types of films that we're getting. There's less actual jobs. There's less actual positions. People are hiring a lower amount of people. And because of that, it's not only harder to get into the industry in many different ways, but it's also harder to get good ideas through. When they're developing stuff, it's such a difficult process to try to get attention on something that isn't already being done in some way and has proof of concept of returns. Because people in the industry right now are also less willing to take risks on stuff. And I feel like that's almost what we need, is back to taking risks, back to trying new things. And sure, there will be things that shift because of how the world has changed. And that's fair. That should be taken into account. But that doesn't mean abandoning your quality control and abandoning trying new things. It's something that the industry has started playing less with at a time when I feel like they need to play more with to actually see growth. Because yes, the market is almost flooded right now. Like anyone and everyone can make something, right? Anyone and everyone can release content. Anyone and everyone can have a production company. Anyone and everyone can do a lot of these things now. But it takes more work to stand out, to be seen. It takes standing out more to be successful. It takes doing things that go opposite of the crowd because everybody else is doing that. So you're just going to blend in with what everyone else is doing, as opposed to doing something unique and all your own that nobody else is doing. And that is what the industry needs more of right now. We need creativity put back in and not so filtered. Yes, of course you want quality control. You want some kind of filters and checks and balances on that, right? And that's good. That's normal. That's natural. But I feel like it's beyond just that now, where it's gotten so difficult to be able to do that and be creative, think outside the box, that's why there are so many indie films now. That's why there's so many people doing things independently instead, because they don't have to go through that bureaucracy. They don't have to tailor it to whatever this other person thinks can be successful. And that's why I also think major studios doing it is how we get out of this, is how you see replenishment in the industry again, because they will set the pattern. And if others were smart, they would take that note and try it themselves, try it their own way, and not have so many copies. And I think even a little bit of that could go a long, long way to help the industry. We'll see what happens, particularly with the Warner Brothers sale, because that, we've talked about it at length, could be a whole other different conversation and shift in the industry. But that's what I'm thinking and seeing right now. I would love to know your thoughts as either consumers of film or makers of film. What are your thoughts on that? What do you see happening that you would like to change, and how would you like to see it change? I would love to know. Leave us a comment. Let me know. And I will just leave you with my thought is creativity is the key right now. That's what we need the industry to get back to in like a lot of ways. And I do want to give you a recommend. This is actually going to be not a film, but connected to a film. And that is On the Town with Matt Bellany. He interviewed James Cameron. So if you're interested to hear more on that, I will link that episode. Actually, I just done 2 episodes of it. I will link those below. You can check them out. See what you think. And I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. I will see you guys again next week. Bye. The Studio Sessions is a Butterfly Entertainment production. You can keep up with all of our podcasts, YouTube videos, films, and other projects on our Instagram page. We are at Butterfly Entertainment Group. Thanks for listening.